You've been told for years that eggs are a healthy, affordable source of protein. They're simple, satisfying, and often the first thing you reach for in the morning. But if you're over 60, what you don't know about how you prepare and eat eggs could be putting your heart at serious risk, without you feeling a single symptom. Today, doctors are raising concerns about a silent threat hiding in your kitchen. Not in the egg itself, but in the way you cook it, combine it, and eat it regularly. In this video, we'll break down the specific egg habits that silently strain your heart after 60, the biological changes that make older adults more vulnerable, what kind of egg preparations are safe and even protective, and simple changes that could add years to your life without giving up eggs. This is not about fear. It's about eating smarter for a stronger, healthier heart. So stay with us until the end, because one of the most popular egg dishes in the world turns out to be one of the most dangerous for people over 60. And you'll want to know exactly why. For decades, eggs were blamed for raising cholesterol levels. Nutrition headlines warned people to avoid yolks, stick to whites, and skip breakfast omelets entirely. But recent research has shown something more complex. Eggs, when eaten the right way, are not inherently bad. In fact, they contain high-quality protein, vitamins D, B12, and A, choline, which supports brain health, lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that protect your eyes. So the egg itself isn't the full problem. The issue lies in how eggs are commonly prepared and consumed, especially by people over 60, whose bodies process fats, cholesterol, and sodium differently than younger adults. Let's explain. Your heart is a muscle that has been working non-stop since the moment you were born. And after 6 decades of work, it begins to change. Arteries stiffen with age, making it harder for blood to flow freely. Blood pressure tends to rise, even with a healthy lifestyle. Cholesterol levels become harder to regulate. And your heart becomes more sensitive to dietary stress, especially from saturated fats, sodium, and oxidized cholesterol. This means that what was once a harmless breakfast could now become a daily assault on your cardiovascular system, if you're not careful with how you cook and combine your eggs. Here's the first and most damaging mistake: eating fried eggs cooked in processed oils at high temperatures. Let's break that down. When eggs are fried in oils like canola, sunflower, or even margarine substitutes, they're exposed to high heat, which triggers a chemical reaction called oxidation. This process alters the fats in both the oil and the yolk, producing oxidized cholesterol compounds, a major contributor to plaque buildup in your arteries. Over time, this buildup causes narrowed arteries, reduced oxygen to the heart, increased blood pressure, higher risk of heart attack or stroke. And you may feel none of it happening until it's too late. Even if your eggs are prepared well, the danger often comes from what they're served with. Ask yourself, what's on your plate alongside your eggs? White toast with butter, bacon or sausage, processed cheese, hash browns cooked in vegetable oil, salted canned beans, and more butter or margarine. Each of these adds saturated fat, refined carbs, sodium, preservatives, which together turn a simple egg breakfast into a cardiovascular bomb. Especially for seniors, the combination of salt, sugar, and trans fats sends your blood pressure soaring and inflames your arteries, quietly, daily. If you eat eggs this way regularly and are over 60, your body may already be sending signals, even subtle ones. You feel tired easily, even with enough sleep. You notice slight chest discomfort after meals. Your legs swell slightly in the evening. You feel short of breath after walking short distances. You have occasional dizziness or foggy thinking. These aren't random. They may be signs of reduced heart efficiency or early cardiovascular strain. And the hard truth is, most seniors ignore these signs until a real emergency forces them to pay attention. Recent studies have shown that the preparation method of eggs is more important than the egg itself. Boiled and poached eggs, neutral to beneficial in small portions. Fried eggs in processed oil, damaging, especially in high frequency. Eggs with salty meats or processed breads, risky combination. Egg-based fast food breakfast items, among the worst offenders. Cardiologists now recommend that seniors limit egg consumption to no more than 6 to 8 per week, and to avoid pairing them with processed foods or inflammatory ingredients. But the real key Learning the right way to eat eggs so you don't have to give them up completely. Now that we've talked about what not to do, let's shift the focus to solutions. Because yes, you can still eat eggs after 60. In fact, they can be part of a heart-smart diet if you choose the right preparation methods. Here are the top 3 ways to eat eggs that minimize heart risk and even offer some benefits. 1. Boiled eggs, soft or hard-boiled. No added fats or oils. No exposure to high heat or oxidation. Easy on the digestive system. Keeps the yolk stable and intact. Boiled eggs are ideal because they retain their nutrients without creating oxidized cholesterol. They also allow you to control portion size easily. Pro tip: pair boiled eggs with fiber-rich foods like avocado or whole oats to help balance cholesterol levels naturally. 2. Poached eggs. Cooked gently in water. Low temperature preserves nutrients. No oil required. Poaching keeps the structure of the egg intact while avoiding damaging fats or high temperatures. It's also one of the least inflammatory ways to prepare eggs. Pro tip: serve poached eggs on a bed of sautéed spinach or steamed vegetables instead of toast for a heart-friendly upgrade. 3. Steamed eggs or egg soufflés. No cheese, no salt. Light texture, easy to digest. Can be mixed with chopped vegetables. No frying or oil needed. Steamed eggs allow for nutrient-rich combinations without the usual damage from frying. Avoid adding processed meats, cheese, or excessive salt to keep the dish heart-safe. Let's now get very clear on the worst offenders, the egg preparations and pairings that silently harm your heart over time. 1. Fried eggs in butter or margarine. These are double trouble. Butter adds saturated fats. Margarine adds trans fats. High-heat frying creates oxidized cholesterol. This trio stresses your arteries, stiffens blood vessels, and makes your heart work harder to pump blood. Even worse, many people combine this with white bread and bacon, creating a high-fat, high-sodium, low-fiber meal that spikes your blood pressure and cholesterol for hours. 2. Scrambled eggs with cheese and processed meats. This popular breakfast combo might taste good, but it's dangerous. Cheese adds sodium and saturated fats. Bacon and sausage increase nitrates and inflammation. Scrambling at high heat breaks down egg structure and increases oxidation. The result is a pro-inflammatory meal that silently damages blood vessels with every bite. 3. Fast food egg sandwiches. These are among the worst possible options for seniors. Highly processed ingredients, artificial flavors and preservatives, refined carbs, fried eggs, and processed meats all in one. These meals spike blood sugar, clog arteries, and provide very little nutritional value, while stressing your liver and heart with additives. If you're eating these a few times a week, you're increasing your risk of atherosclerosis, heart failure, and insulin resistance significantly. Another important factor that is often overlooked is how many eggs you eat per serving. For adults over 60, more is not better, especially when it comes to cholesterol and saturated fats. Most doctors now agree that 1 whole egg per meal is safe for most seniors when paired with vegetables or whole grains. 2 or more eggs daily may increase cholesterol levels in some individuals, especially those with diabetes or existing heart disease. Egg whites can be a good substitute if you want more volume without extra cholesterol. Balancing your egg intake with fiber, plant fats, and antioxidants is key to reducing long-term heart risks. Instead of giving up eggs, try combining them with foods that support cardiovascular health. Here are some excellent pairings. Avocado, healthy fats that reduce LDL cholesterol. Spinach, nitrates that support blood vessel function. Tomatoes, lycopene for reducing arterial stiffness. Onions, natural anti-inflammatory compounds. Olive oil, raw, not for frying, a heart-protective fat. Oats, soluble fiber to trap cholesterol before it reaches your bloodstream. Creating an egg meal that includes these ingredients not only neutralizes the potential risks but may actually make it beneficial. Sometimes, it's not just about the egg, it's about your entire breakfast ritual. Here are morning mistakes many seniors make. Eating eggs on an empty stomach without fiber or fluids leads to cholesterol spikes and poor digestion. Adding salt before even tasting the food raises sodium levels unnecessarily. Pairing eggs with coffee and pills. Some medications interact negatively with high-fat meals or caffeine. Skipping movement or a walk after breakfast leads to poor circulation and slower fat metabolism. These habits, when combined, can turn a simple breakfast into a daily health hazard. As we age, metabolism slows down, and the body becomes less efficient at processing certain nutrients, especially fats and cholesterol. Here's what that means for eggs. The liver produces less bile, making fat digestion slower. The gallbladder may release bile less effectively, especially if you've had it removed. The intestinal walls absorb fats differently, leading to higher blood lipid levels. LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, tends to increase, while HDL, the good kind, may decrease. This is why a 50-year-old and a 75-year-old may have completely different responses to the same breakfast. And it's also why one person may tolerate eggs just fine, while another slowly builds up arterial plaque without realizing it. You've probably seen headlines that completely contradict each other. Eggs are heart healthy. Eggs raise your cholesterol. 1 egg a day is fine. Avoid eggs if you care about your heart. So what's the truth? The reality is, context matters. Let's look at what the science actually says. Study number 1, Harvard School of Public Health, 2019. This study found that moderate egg intake, up to 1 per day, did not increase heart disease risk in healthy individuals. But in people with diabetes or existing heart disease, the risk increased slightly with frequent egg consumption, especially when paired with unhealthy foods. Study number 2, Journal of the American Medical Association, 2020. Analyzed over 29,000 participants and found that higher dietary cholesterol intake, over 300 milligrams per day, was associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease and early death. 1 large egg contains about 186 milligrams of cholesterol. So 2 eggs a day already brings you close to that threshold. Study number 3, Meta-analysis from China, 2021. This research found that people who consumed boiled or poached eggs had neutral or positive cardiovascular outcomes, while those who ate fried or processed egg dishes showed higher levels of inflammation, LDL cholesterol, and arterial stiffness. If you're over 60, here's how to make sense of the research. Eggs aren't evil, but they're not harmless either. The risk depends heavily on what you eat with them, how you prepare them, and how your body is aging. You can safely enjoy up to 1 whole egg a day, especially if you're healthy and eat mostly plant-based or heart-healthy meals otherwise. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or a history of heart disease, consider limiting whole eggs to 3 or 4 per week, and focus more on egg whites. One thing that rarely gets mentioned is how chronic inflammation interacts with dietary cholesterol. After 60, your immune system may become more reactive, especially if you're already living with arthritis, type 2 diabetes, obesity, gum disease, or chronic infections. All these conditions amplify inflammation, which in turn makes your arteries more sensitive to oxidized cholesterol and saturated fats. That means the same fried egg that a 30-year-old digests without trouble may become a trigger for silent inflammation and plaque buildup in a senior. This is why boiling, poaching, or steaming eggs is not just about avoiding fat. It's about protecting your blood vessels from microscopic inflammation that adds up over time. Yes, and here's why. The cholesterol and saturated fat are concentrated in the yolk, while the white contains mostly protein. Egg whites are low in calories, have no cholesterol, are easy to digest, do not trigger inflammatory responses in most people, can be combined with vegetables for nutrient-dense meals. For seniors with heart risk factors, replacing 1 yolk with 2 egg whites allows for a satisfying meal that's easier on the heart and liver. But remember, egg whites are not magic on their own. They still need to be cooked at low heat, combined with fiber-rich and antioxidant-rich foods, free from added salt, cheese, or oils. Solutely. If you eat eggs regularly and are over 60, you should ask your doctor for a complete lipid panel. This test will check LDL cholesterol, bad. HDL cholesterol, good. Triglycerides, total cholesterol ratio. This is the only way to know how your body is truly responding to eggs, and whether you're in a safe zone or quietly moving toward trouble. Some people are hyperresponders, meaning they absorb and retain more cholesterol from food than others. You won't know unless you test. Real stories from seniors who changed the way they eat eggs. Carlos, 72, Miami, Florida. Carlos used to start every day with 2 fried eggs, toast, and sausage. He felt fine, but during a routine checkup, his doctor noticed high blood pressure and elevated LDL cholesterol. After switching to boiled eggs 3 times per week and adding oatmeal and avocado, his numbers dropped within 3 months, without medication changes. Marjorie, 68, Denver, Colorado. Marjorie loved egg and cheese sandwiches from a local bakery. She had mild chest pressure and fatigue by midday. After watching a documentary on heart health, she replaced her egg sandwich with a spinach and egg white omelet. Her energy returned, and her blood pressure dropped by 15 points in 2 months. David, 75, San Antonio, Texas. David had survived a mild heart attack. He thought his egg-heavy breakfast was healthy because he didn't use butter. But he regularly scrambled them with sausage and cheese. With his cardiologist's help, he restructured his meals. Now he steams eggs, skips processed meats, and includes berries and whole grains. Today, his arteries are in better shape than when he was 65. These stories show that small changes can lead to big results, especially when they become part of a daily habit. Here's a doctor-approved, heart-friendly 7-day breakfast plan that allows you to enjoy eggs without harming your cardiovascular system. Day 1. The Power Starter. 1 boiled egg. 1 slice of whole grain toast. 1/2 avocado. Herbal tea. Why it works. Healthy fats plus fiber slow digestion and reduce cholesterol absorption. Day 2. Antioxidant boost. 1 poached egg. Sautéed spinach and tomato. 1/2 cup blueberries. Oatmeal. Why it works. Lutein, lycopene, and soluble fiber protect the heart. Day 3. Egg-free fiber day. Chia pudding with almond milk. Ground flax seeds. Fresh strawberries. Why it works. Giving your liver a break from cholesterol and adding omega-3s. Day 4. Protein and polyphenol. 1 egg white plus 1 whole egg steamed. Olive oil drizzle. Raw. Green tea. Sliced apples with cinnamon. Why it works. A moderate egg intake with polyphenol for anti-inflammation. Day 5. The Mediterranean morning. 1 boiled egg. Tomato cucumber salad with olive oil and oregano. 1 slice rye bread. Why it works. A heart-healthy tradition supported by global research. Day 6. Light and filling. 2 egg whites scrambled with mushrooms. 1/2 avocado. Peppermint tea. Why it works. Light, filling, and gentle on digestion. Day 7. Reset day. Oat bran with banana. Ground walnuts. 1 spoon chia seeds. Chamomile tea. Why it works. No cholesterol, all fiber and anti-inflammatory ingredients. By following this plan even 3 or 4 days a week, most seniors report less bloating, more energy, better digestion, improved lab results, reduced cravings for salt and processed food. Food isn't just fuel. It's comfort, culture, memory, and routine. The goal isn't to make you fear eggs. It's to empower you with knowledge so you can make better decisions without giving up the foods you enjoy. Eggs can still be part of your life, just not fried in margarine, buried in cheese, or stacked on a white bun with processed bacon. Instead, enjoy them. Steamed, poached, boiled, with vegetables, with herbs and spices, not salt, and combine them with a heart-conscious mindset that values prevention over reaction. You don't have to become vegan. You don't have to eat bland meals. You simply have to understand that after 60, your body deserves a different kind of care, starting with what you put on your plate. If you made it this far, you're already doing something powerful, taking control of your health through education. Now, let's take the next step. Watch our next video. This 10 Habits After 65 reveals if you'll live to 100. Senior Health Alert. It reveals 10 rare abilities that signal optimal aging and how to protect them starting today. Click now and keep building the strongest, smartest, healthiest version of yourself, one small habit at a time.